All the ammo used in this video was brought to you by Noir, maker of the most innovative, most accurate, and most effective bullets and ammunition in the industry.
So my DM box is flooded with messages, and I know what you're thinking. Oh yeah, you got all these IG models sliding through the Instagram DM boxes. But no, instead, I get DMs of people asking me, does the Micro 9 from Kimber make for a good EDC gun? So, for all of you IG models out there, don't be scared, don't be shy. Just slide. Just go ahead and slide. No, I'm playing. Maybe. All right. So I did get a message from someone asking me on whether or not the Kimber Micro 9 is a good EDC gun. And I was like, I have two of them, so I'll answer that question here. So I have a lot of factors that I consider whenever it comes to what I consider to be a good carry gun or a non-good carry gun. And so one of the main ones is concealability. So the ability to conceal the gun. Well, as you can see here, this gun is really small. It's not very big at all. So concealing this is almost a no-brainer, which is a good thing because when it comes to your carry gun, you want something that's easy, something that's not going to be a burden or a chore to carry. So because that's going to be the gun that you always have on you whenever you step outside the house. A big ass gun at home means nothing if you're not carrying it. So, well, I mean, it does mean something if you're at home and something happens, but when it comes to carrying it, if you leave it at home, then it's pointless. So the weight of this gun. This gun is small in size as far as barrel length, width of the gun, so forth and so on. However, since it is an all metal gun, it does have a little more weight to it, a little more heft. But because it is small, it doesn't have that burdensome weight that makes you not want to carry it. But if you compared it to a polymer frame gun that's in the same size, it's going to be a lighter gun. But as you're going to see later on, what this weight does for you though is mitigate a lot of the recoil that you get whenever you are shooting it. So the next thing I factor in when it comes to a carry gun or EDC gun is shootability. Yes, you're going to spend most of your time carrying the gun, but you're also going to want a gun that you're going to be able to shoot well if you need to use it to defend yourself. And a gun you're going to enjoy shooting when you take it to the range, because in order to stay up on your ability to shoot the gun, you're going to have to take it to the range. And it's going to suck if you're going to have to constantly keep taking the gun that you hate shooting to the range in order to practice to stay up from a skill set standpoint.
I want to talk about today's sponsor, Acre Gold. Acre is a subscription-based platform for buying gold. Acre lets you make small monthly payments, and once your account hits a certain threshold, Acre will send a gold bar straight to your house. There's a $30, a $50, and a $100 option. Each month when your account reaches the price of a 2.5, 5, or 10 gram Acre Gold bar, Acre will then discreetly ship you a small gold bar every time your account hits that price threshold, and then credit any remainder to your next gold bar. So if you're interested in buying gold or simply want to learn more information, you can click my affiliate link in the description section of this video. And now back to the show.
This Kimber 9 surprises me because it is an extremely good shooter, a really good shooter. When you first shoot it, I'm going to tell you right now, first shots, you're not going to like it. And the reason why is because it is a small gun. So if you're used to shooting bigger guns, you're going to shoot this gun and you're going to compare it to your bigger guns. You can't do that. You have to understand the sacrifices you're making when you go to a gun this small. It's going to fit better in it's going to feel different in your hand. It's not going to point the same way. It's not going to feel the same way. If you have bigger hands, you're going to have to adjust for that. If you have smaller hands, it may work more to your benefit. But once you get out of that mindset of comparing it to bigger guns and you keep it within this realm, this gun is a shooter. And I mean a shooter. It is accurate. I can shoot this gun at typical distance. So a typical self-defense distance is about, what, 9 to 15 feet. So about, I'd say about 7.5 yards, something like that, whatever the math works out to. 7, 8 yards, I can stack holes with this gun pretty significantly. At the same time, I can shoot this gun well intuitively. So when it comes to just drawing the gun and then just looking and shooting like in a self-defense situation, more than likely, the chances of you actually getting a good read on your sights is gonna be slim to none. It's possible, but from an intuitive shooting standpoint, you want a gun that points really well. This gun points really well because of its 1911 structure. This is essentially a mini 1911. So pointing the gun and shooting the gun without thinking about it much or looking for your sights and getting a clear front sight picture, you can do it relatively easy from those typical self-defense distances. Now, am I gonna be taking out targets, being able to take out criminals at 50 yards or 100 yards with this gun? I mean, with my skill set, maybe, huh? But you're gonna have to put in exceedingly more work in order to do that consistently and accurately. That's not what this gun is about. This is a get off me gun, essentially. But it shoots so well and is so accurate, I would extend those distances to the, hey, stop what you're doing right there, don't move, gun as well. Instead of some other guns, which are get off me guns, which outside of maybe 3 feet, you're struggling. Not this gun. This gun, honestly, I'd feel comfortable shooting at a man-sized target. I dare say 25 yards, easily. So that's one plus about this particular gun. Another thing that's extremely important for obvious reasons when it comes to what is a good or bad EDC gun is gonna be capacity. This is actually honestly very subjective. Some people feel comfortable carrying 5 shots, some people feel comfortable carrying 6. Some people don't feel comfortable unless they have 34 rounds. It's very subjective. This particular gun has 7 rounds, plus 1 that gives you 8. Considering its size and its form factor, that's decent. I'm not gonna say it's incredible, it's decent. Now, whether or not that suffices, me personally, if I carry this gun, I'm gonna understand I'm carrying it for the specific reason of it being extremely small and me being able to hide it extremely well, understanding that I'm sacrificing capacity in order to do it. Now, that being said, there are other guns that are slightly in a higher capacity that are in or around the same kind of size. However, for someone who is a diehard 1911 fan, who wants a 1911 because that is the form factor that they're used to, for someone who likes the ability to shoot this gun as accurately as you can shoot it, for someone who wants the safety that you do have on this gun, all of those things add to the fact that, okay, I may be giving up a couple rounds here and there, but I have a gun that I can shoot incredibly well. So that's something that you want to factor in when it comes to concealability. What are you giving up, and then what are you getting as a result of it? Another thing that's incredibly important that a lot of people don't necessarily talk about is your ability to get to the gun. And then also, of course, concealability. So when you get to guns this small, you start running into issues about how fast you can actually get to the gun when it comes to the draw. Now, a lot of that's going to be also dependent on your holster. Some holsters let you ride the gun higher, some let you ride the gun lower. Holster is also a big important thing with respect to this gun in terms of concealability, because you can get a gun this small and yeah, technically you can hide it really well, but then you have this bulky holster, which makes the gun size pretty much useless at that point because the holster is just as big as the damn gun. So keep that in mind. If you're gonna go with this gun, I would go with a very minimal style holster to take advantage of the size aspect, because otherwise what's the point? You might as well just get a bigger gun if you're just gonna get a big ass holster. This gun, because of this extension, makes it a lot easier to get to the gun. Whereas in some cases you have guns that are really small, but then they have a small grip and frame, and you're kind of seeking and fishing and trying to find where to get the actual gun. So I like the fact that it has this extension because it makes it a lot easier. But then also, since it has this kind of 90-degree effect that it has with being a 1911, it's very intuitive and natural to grip the gun, pull, and shoot. You know, this is controversial. A lot of people don't think how your carry gun or EDC gun looks, like it doesn't make much of a difference. I disagree. I think I spend more time looking at my EDC guns than I actually do shooting them. That's just the natural state of reality. So I want something good to look at. And we have so many guns on the market that are good and reliable and functional that we have the privilege in this world, in this society that we live in, to pick guns based on their looks because they already meet the standard necessary for reliability and functionality. So personally, I love this particular setup here, which is why I have it. I love the black with the gold barrel peeking through the slide cuts, and plus the replaceable straps here with the black wood. I love it. It's just beautiful. It's sexy. I call this my wedding gun. I even posted a picture of it on Instagram one time when I was going to a wedding. This is the wedding gun. A part of it, reason why it's a wedding gun, yeah, I have smaller guns that I could probably choose to wear, but there's just something about knowing you have a beautiful gun like this, a high quality gun, when you're in a suit, you just kind of want it all to kind of go together. I'm sorry, that's just the way that I am. Now, for those of you out there who are like, no, I need my gun to look like a tool. I want it to look like I can just go to hell and back with my gun. I got the perfect gun for you right here. There you go. You got it in a sapphire blue as well. So for all of you, it's not a toy, it's not pretty, it's a tool. This is it right here. This is your tool. Perfect, right here, sapphire blue. But no, the beautiful thing about the Micro 9 is that they have a ton of different color options, setups, looks that you can configure if you go to the custom shop and do it, but also just on the site right now, ready to go. There's so many different configurations of this gun in so many different colors. It's insane. So if you don't like this hardcore, ready to do work sapphire blue, they also have them in other colors for you as well. So that's a beautiful thing about the Micro 9. You do get a lot of variations and options as far as aesthetics. And I think, considering all things considered, I think that's a good thing. Because, you know, sometimes people like to fit their gun to their personality, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Another thing is caliber, right? Back in the day, typically, God, that makes me sound old. But back in the day, there used to be, guns this size used to be, without a doubt, 380s. They had to be 380s. And there's nothing wrong with 380s, but I love the fact that now we live in an age where guns this size now can run a 9. And this gun is chambered in 9mm. I carry 9mm all the time. Now, of course, with the smaller barrel, you're gonna get some drop in muzzle velocity, but you still get the power of the 9 versus the 380, which would come out the same barrel length as well. So from that perspective, the 9 in this platform works well. It shoots incredibly well from the standpoint of recoil also, let me not forget. Because even though this is a 9, remember I talked about the weight of the gun. The weight of the gun is not too heavy that makes you not want to carry it, but it is heavy enough that when you're shooting the gun, it makes the gun enjoyable to shoot. I enjoy shooting this gun just for the sake of shooting it. I just do. A large part of it too is the trigger. The trigger on this gun is actually really good. It's about 7 pounds, but it does not feel like 7 pounds. It's a 1-stage trigger. I mean, it's a 2-stage trigger. It has a short uptake, but it's not as heavy as the number suggests. When you're shooting the gun, it feels more like 5 than it does 7. And it breaks really clean and really crisp. And then of course you got these beautiful night sights on the gun as well. So if you're carrying and you have to draw your gun at night and you end up using your sights in that situation, you have it there. And then from a safety standpoint, you get people who are concerned about safety. You also have the safety on the gun. Now, I want you to keep that in mind with the Micro 9. This is a 1911 style gun with the actual safety on it. So with having the safety on the gun, you're gonna have to train to it. You have to train to the gun, because otherwise you're gonna pull it out and you're not gonna realize, oh crap, I have a safety on my gun, and you're gonna find out at the worst time possible. So remember, if you're gonna go this route with this gun, keep in mind, you're gonna have to train to the safety. Train to the safety. And another thing about this gun, because it is a 1911 and it has tight tolerances, which is a plus from the standpoint that it makes the gun extremely accurate and easy to shoot accurately. What it also means is the gun has tight tolerances. So because of those tight tolerances, you wanna make sure that if you carry this gun, that your gun is lubed. Do not run this gun or carry this gun dry. Don't think you're just gonna run 1,000 million rounds through it, never put any lube on it, and the gun is just gonna function flawlessly. As long as the gun is lubed, it runs flawlessly with no issues whatsoever. But when you start running into extremely high round counts and the gun gets exceedingly dirty, that's when you'll start possibly running into some issues. So make sure that if you are gonna run with the Micro 9, that it is lubed. Lube, 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 lube. And no one really ever had a problem with lube. So in conclusion, is the Micro 9 a good EDC gun? Yes, if you understand the limitations that you get from going with a gun of this nature. Understand that you're gonna have a limitation in round capacity, which is 7 + 1. It's giving you 8. You're gonna have a limitation in shootability to a degree. The one thing beautiful about this Micro 9 is that it's actually really easy gun to shoot well once you get used to it. There is a slight learning curve when you shoot this gun, but it points incredibly natural, so it doesn't necessarily make it that much harder to shoot than a larger gun. But you still would shoot a larger gun a lot better than this. But as long as you understand the sacrifices you're making for the size and form factor of this gun, then yes, I think it's perfectly fine. It's like I said, it's small enough, it's a beautiful gun, it's high quality. I actually like and enjoy shooting it. And of course, this is my wedding gun. So I actually do carry it on the rare occasions that I go to a wedding. Even though I don't like going to weddings, I don't know why people keep asking me to go to them, but whatever. But nonetheless, at the end of the day, this is, I would say, a good EDC gun as long as you understand the realistic limitations and benefits of going with a gun of this size. Don't expect too much from this gun and then be surprised when it doesn't meet your standard in terms of like, oh, well, I only have 7 rounds. Well, yeah, that's what happens when you go to a really small gun. At the end of the day, it's a good gun. I think it's a good EDC gun because it is a gun that you're always going to carry because it's easy to carry. You won't have to think about it. It's small enough where it doesn't become intrusive into your day-to-day life. And so, like I said, a small gun on you every day is better than a big-ass gun on you every once in a while. So there you have it. Micro 9 from Kimber. Gets my stamp of approval for an EDC gun.
You know how frightening it is to think about what happens in the moments before, during, and even days after having to use your gun in self-defense? When you first start carrying a gun for protection, it can be a very scary and nerve-wracking experience, especially if you haven't gotten the education and training you need to feel confident. I've been there myself, hoping I never have to go through a self-defense shooting, which is why I'm a member of the USCCA. As a USCCA member, you can eliminate some of the stress of carrying a gun for protection by accessing the amazing wealth of firearm education, training, and current state-specific gun laws of your state or states you may travel to. This can help you be prepared for or hopefully even avoid a self-defense incident. As a bonus, members automatically become insured on the self-defense liability insurance policy purchased by and issued to the USCCA. Click below to learn more. I'm sure the YouTube algorithm is going to do a phenomenal job of suppressing this message. So please share this video with as many people as you can so we can beat the algorithm and get our two-way message out to the masses. Also, don't forget to like this video and leave a comment and hit the bell and subscribe button.